Hi, bookish friends, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. And my name is Claudia. I talk about books, and I will talk to you today about the books that I read in February. So if that's something that interests you, can maybe save you some time and money, or maybe add some books to your TBR, then stick around and let's go over each one of the 12 books that I read this month. Cheers, my Dr. Pepper! The first book that I read was Hamnet. This is a book that I read because I wanted to read it before watching the adaptation, which I have yet to watch. I didn't like this one too much. I know it was a hit and a very loved books for a lot of you, but it just didn't work for me. I found the writing to be repetitive at times and the too floral, like flowery, and the descriptions were repetitive as well. It just didn't work for me, the writing. So that one I was not a hit for me, and I do not recommend this one. But yeah, that's just my opinion because this is a very loved book. I just found it to be overhyped, unfortunately. Then we have this amazing novella. This is the Ballad of Black Tom. This is a Lovecraftian horror novella set in the 1920s Brooklyn, if I remember correctly. We follow a petty thief that makes a deal with otherworldly entities, and things go from there. But I found this one to be really, really good, and I highly recommend it. This was in my bucket list that I have. I have a million bucket lists, but this one was one for horror, must read horror books, and I am glad that I had it and I got to it because it's a very, very good book and it's short, so you have nothing to lose. Very, very good book, and I want to read more by this author. I have a couple of more of his books on my shelf. Then we have Where They Last Saw Her. This is a Native American mystery thriller literary book in which we follow a woman. She lives in a reservation, and she is one day running through the woods practicing for the Boston Marathon when she hears a scream, and then she becomes very invested, very involved in solving the mystery to who the scream belongs to. And then we start seeing more of the disappearances that have been going on in within her reservation, and the more general issue of missing and murdered Native American women. Very interesting. I really, really recommend this one. It didn't work for me when it came to the execution of the themes that it explores, but it felt a little bit of a true crime book to me, but it didn't take away from my enjoyment, and I found it very, very eye-opening. So I highly recommend that you pick up this one, and the cover is beautiful. So yeah, that one was a good one. Then we have one that kind of disappointed me. This is Rachel Harrison's Black Sheep. This is an author that I love. I really, really love all the books that I have read by her. I have read Such Sharp Teeth, and The Return that I loved. Sorry. And yeah, this one I liked at the beginning. I was really, really liking it. I was stabbing away. I love Rachel Harrison's writing. This story in particular didn't win me over as much, didn't pull me in as much. I found that it got boring in a sense, and the themes that this one deals with, which I won't say because it's kind of spoilery, just are not particularly something that I enjoy too much in horror when that's the plot. But I do like it. It's just my least favorite by her so far, and I cannot wait to read the rest of hers that I have. Then we have Annihilation. This is a sci-fi book that I had seen the adaptation and I had not read the book, and I liked this one too, but this one left me a little bit confused, and I can't even say what this one is about because I'm still not even sure what I read about, but the writing was just beautiful. And this does deal with like scientists exploring this very mysterious area that things other missions have been going into it and disappearing and stuff, and it's like nature sci-fi, very weird strange things happen in that area. Very cool book. It's not that long, so I do recommend that if you're into that type of literary sci-fi women's point of view story, you may like this one. So I don't not recommend it if that makes any sense, but that was Annihilation. Then we have Wuthering Heights. This one is a classic that I really, really liked. I also read it to go watch the adaptation with the newest inspiration adaptation, whatever movie with my friends. We ended up not going. I do want to see the movie, but I wanted to read it anyways because this all the adaptations of this movie I have really liked in the past, and this is one of my great aunt's favorite books from when I was young. And so, yeah, I really was interested in giving it a chance. I really liked it. And I think this is one that you should annotate and take your time with. It is complex, it has a lot, like, different characters. It is not a love story. I wouldn't call this the most romantic love story, but it is a really good gothic from the gothic romance era. So you do have those toxic relationships and um just very atmospheric vibes that I am all in for. Really, really like this, and I cannot wait to reread it and even take my, write even more on the actual book and tab it along more. So, highly recommend this one. Then recently I finished The Metamorphosis. This is a another classic, very short, by Franz Kafka. This is one that I used to love when I was young, and I don't know why because it's such a weird adult book. This is a psychological horror, I would say, in which we follow a traveling salesman that one day wakes up and he has turned into a giant bug. I love the cover on this edition, and yeah, very good book. I highly recommend this one. I think this is one of those that makes you think, and you can interpret it in so many different ways. We deal with how he deals with this transformation, with his family's reaction to this transformation. It can be interpreted, like I said, in many different ways, about just waking up and hating life, and it could be seen as depression. It could be seen as a person with a disability, and how people don't treat us the same when we have less value to them, and among other things. Highly recommended, very good book, and I really, really liked it. Then we have The House on Mango Street. This is another classic that I loved, by Sandra Cisneros. I had been wanting to read this one for a long time. This is told in vignettes. You're basically following this young woman, young girl, that it's a coming of age, but check the trigger warnings on this one. But we are following her in and the life of her and her neighbors in this city in Chicago, this that neighborhood in Chicago. And all the vignettes tell the story of the different people, different families, her own point of view. And I found this one very poetic, very beautifully written, and sad. I say in my review on my short that this reminds me of the same feeling that I had while reading Our Spoons Came from Woolworths from Barbara Cummins. Is when you are reading a very heartbreaking, very adult story from the point of view of a young girl and that innocence through her eyes. Highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. But yeah, I know this style might not work for everybody. It worked for me, and I think you will love it too. The next classic that we have is Carmilla. If you didn't know, Carmilla came before Dracula. It's kind of the OG vampire story. And it's not only a vampire story, it's a queer vampire story. Our main character is a woman, and I found that so cool. The fact that this was from the 1800s. I found it atmospheric and cool, and just a very cool novella. I think it's highly recommended if you want to get into classics. This is about a young woman that lives in a mansion with her father when she sees this lady with this young, beautiful girl that is supposed to be her daughter, and they're passing by, and the daughter stays in the care of the girl and her dad. So she stays with them at the castle, and things go from there. A lot of mysterious things start happening. The relationship between Carmela and Laura, the girl that lives in the castle, and Carmela, the girl that stays over, starts developing, and you read about all of that and start untangling the mystery. Highly recommended. Very good novella. Then we have The Spell Shop. This is a book that is just, look at that cover. It's beautiful. It's a genre that is out of my the regular things that I normally read. I don't read fantasy, I don't read cozy anything, and I really liked it. I think I have bought it either because it was on sale and I loved the cover, or I wanted to kind of get into the genre. This I had for a while already, a couple of years maybe, and I gave it a chance. I put it on audio while I was sketching and drawing and doing my little crafty things, and it was the perfect background for that. So if you like puzzling or crocheting, drawing, anything that's crafty that you can just play something and pay attention as you're also doing something else, highly recommend this one. It's super cute. It's about a girl. She's a librarian, I believe, and at the beginning there's a fire where she is, and she has to escape and go to this cute little island. And then we meet there. She has a kind of like a sidekick, a sentient plant that's adorable. And this little island has, the inhabitants are very, small town people, little cute community, and she comes in and does her thing, and there's this cute little romance. So I really like this one. It was so cute. So I highly recommend it for that reason. Then we have my 5 star, I think it's my only 5 star of the month, which is Big Lies in a Small Town by Diane Chamberlain. This is an author that is a hit for me. Every single book that I have read by her, I have loved 5 stars, and this is no different. So I'm excited that I have like two more of hers on my shelf. This is an author that does historical fiction with a touch of mystery like no other. I highly recommend it if that sounds like something you enjoy. Her books are always from different points in history. Her books always have dual timelines, dual point of view, and you cannot put it down once you pick it up. You want to know what happened. There's always a mystery at the heart of everything. And very, very, very good book. This one, we are following a young woman that is in 2018 tasked with restoring a mural by an artist from 1940. And as we read, we explore and decipher the mystery of how these two stories connect and what happened in the 40s. And again, 5 stars. I loved it. Think you love it too. Last but definitely not least, we have A Discontent or El Discontento by Beatriz Serrano. This is a Spanish author, and I wish I could have read this one in Spanish, but the translator did an amazing job anyways, because this was hilarious. This was so funny, so funny to me. If you're a millennial, if you work in corporate, if you have ever worked in corporate, if you wake up in the morning or have woken up any morning of your life hating to go to work and your job, and just very, very relatable, very relatable, very funny again. And it's just so unique. We're following this young woman. She's, I think, 32 or 28, around that. She works in advertising marketing and in Madrid. And it's just really funny. You're just following her through life, and she's, all her thoughts on life and working and regrets and the past and the present and the future, and just very, very unique and fun book. It's short. I highly, highly recommend it. So yeah, those are the 12 books that I finished in February. I cannot wait to see what March brings. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these, if any of them are in your radar. What did you read in February? What are you planning to read in March? Thank you so much for watching. If you like these types of video, it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe. I'm trying to get to 700 subscribers, and we are by that ugly number that I won't repeat here. So I'm so grateful, so happy, and I love having a place where I can yap about the books that I read. So I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on my next video. Bye bye.